conditionnement physique, Pierre Allard. Maintenant, les entraîneurs, the coaches. Responsable du service vidéo, Mario Leblanc. Entraîneur des gardiens, Stéphane Waite. Entraîneur adjoint, Jean-Jacques Daigneault. Entraîneur adjoint, Gérard Galland. Entraîneur adjoint, Clément Jaudoin. L'entraîneur-chef, head coach, Michel Terrain. Les joueurs qui ne sont pas en uniforme ce soir, le numéro 6, Douglas Murray. Le numéro 40, number 40, Nathan Beaulieu. Le numéro 44, number 44, Davis Jowiski. Le numéro 49, number 49, Michael Bourdieu. Le numéro 53, number 53, Ryan White. Et le numéro 74, number 74, Alexis Yemelin.
Plus de 100 ans d'histoire, de tradition et d'appui de nos fidèles passionnés. Les pèlerinages vers la coupe, les sacrifices et les miracles, en route vers nos 24 conquêtes sont des moments sacrés, gravés dans la mémoire d'un peuple entier. Nos héros et nos légendes prennent place sur les murs de notre temps. Ils sont témoins des exploits de ceux qui portent maintenant le flambeau à bout de bras et la sainte flanelle sur leur dos. Levez-vous avec nous alors que nous écrivons le prochain chapitre de notre histoire. Nous sommes les Canadiens de Montréal. Nous sommes votre club. Nous sommes le club du hockey.
Number 48, Daniel Brière. Le numéro 8, number 8, Brandon Prust. Le numéro 11, number 11, Brandon Gallagher. Le numéro 14, number 14, Thomas Plekanec. Le numéro 15, number 50, George Carroll. Le numéro 17, number 17, René Bourque. Le numéro 24, number 24, Jared Tenardi. Le numéro 27, number 27, Alex Galchenyuk. Le numéro 30, number 30, Peter Budaj. Le numéro 31, number 31, Terry Gray. Number 32, Travis Sloan. Le numéro 51, number 51, David Desharnais. Le numéro 55, number 55, Francis Bouillon. Le numéro 61, number 61, Rafael Diaz. Le numéro 67, number 67, Max Pacioretty. Le numéro 76, number 76, PK Souban. Le numéro 81, number 81, Lars Eller. Le numéro 26, number 26, Josh Georges. Le numéro 79, number 79, André Markov. Le numéro 21, number 21, le capitaine, team captain, Brian Gianta. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, vos Canadiens. Mesdames, Messieurs, accueillons maintenant l'équipe adverse pour le match de ce soir, les Maple Leafs de Toronto. Toronto Maple Leafs. Mesdames, Messieurs, pour célébrer le début de la saison, nous nous tournons vers vous pour entonner notre hymne national. Veuillez vous joindre aux autres partisans au Centre Bell pour chanter le Haut-Canada, accompagné alors par Madame Diane Bibeau. Ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the start of the season, to perform the national anthem tonight, we turn to you. Please join your fellow fans here at the Bell Center in the singing of Haut-Canada, accompanied on the organ by Diane Bibeau.
The road to the Stanley Cup starts in Montreal. We're all on the edge of our seats for the first of 1,230 games over 195 days. So let's drop the puck on one of the great redeeming qualities of Canadian winter. It's hockey night tonight. James Reimer is the Leafs' incumbent starter. He got them to the playoffs, has a 2-0 record at the Bell Center. And he gets the start tonight with his backup, Jonathan Bernier. No question about who is starting for Montreal. Carey Price, not only watched by all of Montreal, but all of Canada to see if he can bounce back from a poor finish last season. He starts with Peter Budaj as his backup, and you see the officials for game number 1 of the National Hockey League season from the Bell Center in Montreal. Thomas Plekanec at center for the home side. Rennie Bourque on the left wing. The captain of the Canadiens, Brian Gionta, on the right side with Josh Georges and PK Subban on defense. And the Maple Leafs counter with Tyler Bozak, Phil Kessel, and James Van Riemsdyk, the number 1 line. Dion Phaneuf and Carl Gunnarsson on the defense. The Canadiens start a breakout, and Bourque couldn't control the puck. Here's PK Subban. The steady pair this is with the happy legs of Subban and the very steady Josh Georges paired up together. Dion Phaneuf. Back together with Carl Gunnarsson, number 36. His outlet to Phil Kessel. Puck got away from him on a change. David Desharnais coming off the bench, and Kessel recovered and got the puck to his defense. Both teams make changes. Here's Nazem Kadri, center on the second line. Nikolai Kulemin is his right winger, and Joffrey Lupul on the left side as the Leafs get in on the forecheck here. David Desharnais flanked by Max Pacioretty. And Daniel Briere wearing number 48 in his first game with the Montreal Canadiens. There's Briere overskating the puck. Kulemin gets a hold of it. He's checked. Here's Joffrey Lupul. Kadri goes to the net. Lupul tries to get unchecked. Nice play, and Jake Gardner coming in, couldn't quite handle that pass from Nikolai Kulemin and got his legs all crossed up. Franzen with a shot that just went wide of the net. Here's Briere. Pacioretty's way up ahead of him. Pass didn't get by Jake Gardner. And back the other way comes Nazem Kadri. Good early pace. Kadri looking for someone coming off the bench. It was Mason Raymond in his first game as a Maple Leaf. He was checked and the puck is dumped in. Here's that kid line for Montreal. It's Lars Eller in the middle of Brendan Gallagher, who just got the shot, and Alex Galchenyuk, who's number 27. Mason Raymond playing on the line with Troy Bodie and David Bolin. Bolin, number 63, snaps a shot that deflected off Jared Tenorti over the glass, out of play. Everybody's got their legs going early in the game.
Yeah, you get a sense that both these teams anxious to get started. Obviously, Phil Kessel feeling pretty good about himself with the new 8-year extension. But I like the fact that both coaches, right from the get-go, had their top lines out on the ice, top defensive pairings. And it's so difficult after a ceremony like that to get the engine back up. Everybody a little bit of butterflies, nervousness for opening night. Now they can settle into a real strong game.
Now the first shift for the fourth lines on both teams. There's 29-year-old Paul Ranger in his first game as a Leaf, number 15. Back in the NHL after almost 4 years away. Colton Orr, Jay McClement, and Carter Ashton playing up front. Ashton got nailed by Brandon Tusk. Is on this line with George Peros and Travis Moen. A lot of tough and big guys on the ice. And a high stick knocked the puck out of the air, and the play is stopped. Not down between the benches, but not far from there, down at ice level. Here's Glenn Healy.
I stood and watched all 14 minutes of that ceremony, and it's a long one, so you've got to get yourself going right away. Carey Price, this is unusual for him. I always watch the goaltenders. They've got to be the sharpest early. Misses the puck. That's not like him. There's a shot on net. This is the strange look for Price. He missed that one as well. You know, it's not like preseason. The pace is pretty quick. And when you stand for 14 minutes watching, you got to be ready to go right away.
You're right. It's not like preseason. All the good guys are playing, and the match game has started as Rennie Bourque takes a shot. Bourque, Plekanec, and Gionta. Looks like that's the line that Michel Therrien of the Canadiens with the last change wants to play against Tyler Bozak's lead first line.
Well, unlike the players who can get a hit early on, you want to feel the puck. And as mentioned in the pregame show, here's Price in his body of work over the last 3 years. And most of that .905 save percentage went down the last couple of weeks of the season. Defensively, the Montreal Canadiens struggled down the stretch, and it went on into the playoffs.
Plekanec won the draw. Georges with the shot, and James Reimer has to make a save off the face-off that Plekanec won. Georges and PK Subban, the shutdown pair playing against the Leafs' top line.
A key stop for Reimer here is he's got two bodies in front trying to battle for open pucks. And Reimer able to not only make the save, but leave no rebound.
Bozak's an excellent face-off man, but he lost the last one to Plekanec. Tried to get an early start, so did Plekanec, and he got waved out. Gionta's got to come in.
You see Gionta was going to the net there, Jim. That might have been a go-forward play by Plekanec, and instead he gets tossed.
Bozak recovers to win this draw. Beyond Phaneuf. Out with Cody Franson on defense right now, and Phaneuf lifts the puck in the air and gets it to center. Subban backing up. Just laid the puck up along the boards, and Phaneuf will take over. He's playing the left side here with the right-handed Cody Franson.
He's looking to make a change, as it looks like Randy Carlyle wants Franson and Gardner out against this group. So Phaneuf was there for the face-off.
James Van Riemsdyk, backhander, stopped by Price, and he made that look a little more difficult than it seemed. Looked like an off-speed pitch from JVR.
Well, Glenn talked about maybe a little tough or funny start for Price. This is not any easier, as a good forecheck by the Leafs creates a chance. But a turnaround backhand is difficult to handle at the best of times. You can see Kessel following up the play, and this one bounces right off the stick of Georges, and look at the reaction of Price, able to stay with that and get a piece of it and then hold on.
Attacking zone face-off, the Leafs send out Nazem Kadri with Joffrey Lupul. Kadri won the draw. Dion Phaneuf with a shot, and that's a tough save for Price to make through traffic, and he stops play again.
Well, face-off so important, and early on here we've seen some good chances at both ends. As Kadri wins that one on his forehand, not easy to do, but Price able to hold on and give his centerman another chance.
Lupul lined up in a shooting position if Kadri can win this on his backhand, but he's going to get tossed out, and Nikolai Kulemin comes in. David Desharnais beat him on the draw, but the Leafs get the puck. Phaneuf, here's Kadri, two men in front. The pass to Kulemin, he was on his backhand and couldn't take the pass. Phaneuf with a drive, and another save by Carey Price. As the Leafs actually lost the faceoff, but they won the loss and got the shot.
Well, we're not even 3 minutes into the season, guys, and I have seen two pucks hit the net that almost went through the goaltender's pads. Here's the first one on Reimer. He kind of lost it, looked behind him a little bit. Same thing here with Price. 2 inches off of most goaltenders' pads. That's 4 inches when you're pad to pad doing the butterfly. There's going to be a lot more 5-hole goals this season. You know what that means? 1 goal, 5 holes bad. Think about it between your ears. 2 5-hole goals, and you're on the bench.
Canadians got the draw again, but once again couldn't get out of their own zone, and the puck's over the glass out of play.
I find it interesting, Glenn. I ask you as a goaltender, isn't it also the ones through traffic that you don't see and just go down in your normal butterfly? In the past, you have so much more of the net that you cover. Now, you better be careful how much activity you have in your net.
Last year, you go pad to pad down and you cover the net and 4 inches.
Yeah.
So, you're right. You play the percentages, you block ice. Now you got to be athletic.
Mark Fraser couldn't clear the puck, gave it away at the blue line, kept in by this kid line, and there's a nice save by Reimer of Alex Galchenyuk at the side of the net. Mason Raymond, great skater, speeds to center ice, dumps the puck in, Bodie's in with a shot, and Price had to make a good save on a shoot in, and Troy Bodie showed some speed to get in there. Raymond's rubbing off on him. Fraser's back, and he's belted by George Parros, and he comes back at it. Fans already love George Parros in Montreal. They like their tough guys here. Georges, as they do most everywhere. PK Subban. Parros tips the puck in. Cody Franson bounces the puck back to center. Fourth line's on the ice for both teams. There's George Parros, picked up in a trade from Florida. Georges joins the rush, and his shot is stopped. And there's a rebound off James Reimer, but easily picked up by the defense. Cody Franson, Jay McClellan. Carter Ashton, his first opening night in the NHL. René Bourque with some room, takes the shot. Nice save by Reimer, and he stops playing.
The game's starting to open up a little bit as the ice guys get comfortable with their speed. You mentioned Bodie does a nice read here. Raymond off the backboards. Bodie gets in quickly, but Price a nice job of kicking that one out. Part of it, understanding your role. After the good chance at one end, what does Parros do? Get physical and does a nice job in, and then in all alone was Bourque with Franson cutting him off, and a nice save, positional save there by James Reimer.
Paul Ranger tried to get in the way of George Parros. Ranger hasn't played in about 35,000 hours. but that would be a penalty in about another week once the referees get in tune with the game as well. Good thing he did hold him up, otherwise Phaneuf would be sitting beside me.
Carey Price had to look after an edge. George Parros didn't play in the preseason. He had off-season shoulder surgery. Cleared to play tonight. And Riemsdyk can't get out of his own zone. Bouncing puck. Plekanec with a shot. Tipped right on. And a nice save by Reimer off Brian Gionta. Tyler Bozak double team behind the net. Bourque and Plekanec forechecking. Gionta hovering around out front. So is Andrei Markov. But the Leafs win the battle on the boards, and Van Riemsdyk starts out. Kessel flying down the right side. Markov tried to stand up. Kessel's shot deflected by Diaz wide of the net. Good teamwork by the defensive pair of Markov and Rafael Diaz.
That was a great read by Diaz to go quickly close out the space for Kessel.
Kessel again moves in, shoots, great save, rebound, Bozak can't bury it. David Desharnais back the other way. Danny Briere wide on Franson, stopped by Reimer. Fine saves at both ends of the ice. Kadri to the front of his own net. Nikolai Kulemin. And Riemsdyk late in his shift. An aerial down into the Montreal zone so they can complete the change. But back the other way comes Max Pacioretty. Driving wide on Dion Phaneuf. Lupul on the back check, got the puck. Here's Kadri with Kulemin. He's double teamed along the boards. Desharnais slips a check from Lupul. Pacioretty can't slip the check of Dion Phaneuf.
Canadians wanted a penalty there, but Phaneuf timed that well that the puck was right there. Pacioretty went to go get it and got knocked on his rear end.
Reimer out to play the puck. Carl Pettersson hit, knocked down, can't recover. The centering pass. Galchenyuk couldn't get the shot away. Eller threw the big hit. Galchenyuk shot. Reimer with a great save, and there's a penalty on the play. Canadians hovering around in front of the goal. And it's Toronto going to the power play as Lars Eller goes off on hockey. Season to Lars Eller. Early in this game, it's the goaltenders who had the highlights.
Great start for James Reimer. Redirects are always tough at any time, but early on, he tracks his puck really well. Let's take a look at Toronto. Not their $6 million man. No. They're $8 million man, and here's why. This is all on the same shift. A game breaker can make something out of absolutely nothing. You know, term star players signed for 8 years. Money, $8 million. What are you going to split? $4 million on fourth, third liner? No, give it to one guy who can break a game open.
And he's out on the power play right now. There's a shot. The play stops. Loose puck. And Price stopped that one too. Van Riemsdyk got a second chance, and the puck is cleared.
Wow, what a battle for Price there. Through traffic, Van Riemsdyk with a wide open net. And somehow Carey Price able to get that right pad down.
Dion Phaneuf, Cody Franson, the right-handed shot on the power play over on the left side right now. Dumps the puck in. The Canadians want their penalty killing to be a lot better this season. It will be if Carey Price continues to play like that. Short-handed, David Desharnais, and the puck was batted ahead. Hand pass, stops play.
Boy, that's a tough call, but I think it's the right one. Glenn, Carey Price had to deal with a lot of issues during that break with the lace on the toe of his pad, and we certainly needed it there. A great athletic save as he fought through traffic, makes the first save, fights for the second.
There's a lot going on tonight. A 14-minute break, problems with your pad, mishandle the first dump in, misplay the first shot, but good goalies get it together, and he's got it together now.
Jake Gardner out on the second power play unit. Kadri pokes the puck to center. Joffrey Lupul takes over. And he got a stick in the face, and there's going to be another penalty here to Montreal. Thomas Plekanec goes directly to jail, and it'll be a 5-on-3 for Toronto for 1 minute and 6 seconds.
It'll be interesting to see what Randy Carlyle does here. Does he have a fresh group of players out there? Look at the examination to see if it's a 2 or a 4. You be the judge. The one hand just rides up. Plekanec, boy, barely even touched, but an opportunity early on here, a 4-minute power play, so it did actually touch his chin and create a little blood, so what a chance early on for Toronto.
DNA does not lie.
5-on-3, Tyler Bozak can't win the draw. Carey Price will cover up. Andrei Markov out with Josh Georges and Brandon Prust to try and kill off this 5-on-3. Lupul will be back on the ice probably as part of the power play unit before long. Bozak, Van Riemsdyk, and Kessel. Leafs gang the puck, win the draw. Winger win. Kessel. Cody Franson. He and Phaneuf start to close in. Now they'll switch spots. Here's Phaneuf. Couldn't lean into it. Kessel couldn't tip it. Markov had a great stick. Brandon Prust gets a hold of the puck. He's a top penalty killer for Montreal in all situations. 5-on-4, 5-on-3. That's how he gets his extra ice off the fourth line, and he got the puck down the ice. Back comes Bozak. Van Riemsdyk. Phaneuf on the other side. Franson as the Leafs get set up and start to close in. The switch. Phaneuf. Cody Franson. Bozak parked in front. Kessel turns, side of the net. Van Riemsdyk scores! Looked like Price slowed it up, but it got underneath him. And the Toronto Maple Leafs on the power play have a 1-0 lead.
Well, one thing you see on this 5-on-3 is a lot of motion. Franson coming through the middle, and I think this was going to be a pass by Van Riemsdyk as he's trying to go cross crease down low to Bozak. You be the judge. A little change down low through the middle, and he's trying to hit Bozak on the opposite side, and instead it hits both pads of Carey Price. You've got a kick out of Bozak for a one-timer. Nice pass through the seam, and that one a double bouncing in. Bad break for Price on that one.
It's the benefit of having this group last year. It's the same group on the power play this year. So even with a short camp, mandatory days off, you know what you're doing before you get on the ice because of familiarity.
Power play that was middle of the pack, 14th last year, and they're still on the power play now for another 3 minutes. And a chance to build upon this 1-0 lead. Van Riemsdyk from Kessel and Franson at 8:01.
It's so hard too defensively, Jim. It's the start of the season, so you don't have a body of work 5-on-3 video-wise to look at to see what they want to try to manufacture. And a nice job of Toronto giving a different look.
Gardner with a shot, hit his own man who was trying to get out of the way. Mason Raymond on the second power play unit. Kadri and Lupul with him. Raymond with a nice pass to the blue line. Rangers shot deflected just wide. All Ranger Jake Gardner on the points in this power play unit. And now the Canadians get out. Gardner went down. He's chasing Brian Gionta. Backhander missed the net. And two Leafs went hard into the boards in behind Reimer. Nazem Kadri back the other way. Drops it off. James Van Riemsdyk back to Kadri. Backhander hit his skate. Loose puck side of the net. And that was PK Subban who cleared it. Here's Kessel walking in with a shot. Deflected wide by Travis Moore. Beyond Phaneuf against Rennie Bourque. Holds the puck in. Van Riemsdyk intercepted by Subban, and he clears the puck with under 2 minutes to go in the Plekanec penalty. Phaneuf started the breakout. Van Riemsdyk back on. Bozak moving up the middle. Ill-advised drop pass, and Rennie Bourque clears the puck. Here's Prust up the middle, couldn't get to the puck. Phil Kessel plays it back in his own zone. Cody Franson checks the clock. He has lots of time in the power play. Kessel with speed. His shot is stopped by Price. Markov double team, went down hard into the boards. Phaneuf holds the puck in. Saving the day was Jared Tenorti in front of the net. Now Brandon Prust here. He took a hard hit from Phaneuf and went into the boards, and Dion Phaneuf will be penalized. And that'll take Toronto off the power play with 1:16 to go in the penalty to Plekanec. How much is Phaneuf going to get?
Some good aggressive penalty killing by the Canadians. I think Prust at the end of the shift just dead tired trying to turn around. And vulnerable position, a little extra hit by Phaneuf. And it is just a 2-minute border.
Panics in the box as a result. Montreal Canadiens are forced to use Prust to take the draw. Left-hand shot, tries to win it, doesn't win it. Wants to go to his forehand. The draw before he went to his backhand, and Price had to freeze it right away. If he can get it to the boards, it's down the ice. Prust never gets off on that shift, except to go to the bench after the goal, 5-on-3.
4-on-4 now for 1:16 till Plekanec gets back.
Tough stretch for the coaches to work their benches. The same guys are playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who don't play. Canadians win the draw. Francis Bouillon with a shot. Hit that crowd in front. There's a loose puck. Diaz scores! Lars Eller has the first goal of the season for the Montreal Canadiens. It's a 1-1 tie.
Glenn talked about face-offs. There's a big win by Eller, but look at the patience by Diaz. Instead of panicking and trying to shoot that towards the net, saw the traffic in front of Reimer. And all of a sudden, that delay, Reimer left all alone, and Eller a wide open net. Excellent read by number 61.
It's Ranger is out of position, too. Instead of playing right point, he's off the left post standing beside Reimer. Walked off.
Still 4-on-4. There's Ranger with an indirect pass that gets through to Dave Bolland. Bolland has Mason Raymond with him, but he's tied up on the boards. And the puck was kicked ahead by Bouillon. Here comes Eller. Bouillon joined the rush. Galchenyuk there as well. And Eller just keeps the puck into the corner. The play is stopped on an offside call. Still 50 seconds left in 4-on-4 hockey before Plekanec gets back. James Van Riemsdyk for Toronto. Lars Eller for Montreal. A 1-1 tie on Hockey Night in Canada. Take your game to the next level with Hockey Night's Second Screen. Interact and compete for cash prizes. Engage with us at cbcsports.ca/second screen. Third season now for Rafael Diaz, and it's starting to show. He's a pretty good-looking defenseman, Heels.
Not bad. Last shift, he creates 2 scoring chances. Head up the entire time. Little pass to Gionta, and here, watch this poise. Head up the whole time. He's going to bury it as Simmer sent it to the goalie's pads. Instead, he buries it onto another player's stick into the back of the net.
27 years old. He's had a little experience, not in awe of the National Hockey League. Mason Raymond back in for Toronto. Dave Bolland with a shot. Price with an easy save. Still 4-on-4 here. Soon Montreal will get a power play as Raymond tries to create some ice against Jared Tenorti. Josh Jordan cycles back. Jared Tenorti, young man but an imposing figure. Big man wears number 24 just like his dad did in the National Hockey League in over 600 NHL games. And it looks like he's going to be the same kind of defenseman as Mark was.
He's got an edge, doesn't he? Mark Bergevin today on Hockey Night in Canada radio was saying it's not just the fact of the injuries that he's here. He's deserved it. He's earned himself a spot to be here on opening night.
Canadians are on the power play now for just over half a minute in a 1-1 tie from the blue line. Markov, Subban shoots. Great save by James Reimer as PK Subban took that pass right in his wheelhouse and hammered it on Reimer.
Great follow by Reimer. He's following and tracking the puck. He's got nobody in front except his defenseman Ranger, but watch his reaction. Great positional save and right on the dot, able to hold on to that rocket by Subban.
One thing's pretty clear. You better be aware when he's on the ice in that spot. As a goaltender, you're always heads up.
They won the draw. Now he goes to the front of the net, but the pass didn't get there. Cleared away by Mark Fraser. Power play through the preseason, and in this opener is Markov and Subban, number 1 unit with Desharnais, Pacioretty, and Danny Briere, who hasn't played very much in the last few minutes.
All the penalties, Briere's been stapled to the bench. Tough to get those legs back going with maybe a little nerves as well.
Jay McClement on the ice. He killed more penalties than most defensemen last season.
Oh, speaking of trying to kill something, PK Subban, he is entertaining every shift. And if he had gotten a hold of Mason Raymond, that would have been a pretty big collision, and it would have erupted this building.
See Raymond giving a little bit of a shot at the end of that one.
Mason's got to get used to the Eastern Conference and all the new guys that he's coming in on.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, you don't necessarily know what you're in for every single game, but if you're playing against the Canadians, you better be ready for 76 coming across.
Played against him, but not as often. Cody Franson bounces the puck, and the teams are back to 5-on-5 now in a 1-1 tie. Desharnais tracked down by Carter Ashton. Colton Orr and Jay McClement.
This is a big shift for the Leafs here too. That fourth line going up against Desharnais and Briere.
Montreal changing on the fly here to get their fourth line out against Colton Orr and company. Loose puck side of the net. Travis Moen couldn't get a hold of it. McClement taken down. Brandon Frost. Prowls with a shot. Missed short side. Here comes Jared Tenorti into Brandon Frost. Couldn't handle the pass. Pinching Bouillon up against Jake Gardiner. Held the puck in for a moment, but Gardiner calmly recovered. Cody Franson Looking up the middle. Now he makes the pass, and it looked like a good one, too. Carter Ashton just couldn't take it.
Nice job of Tenorti getting across and getting just a piece of that one down the ice.
There's Troy Bodie trying to muscle around Tenorti. Threw the puck in front of bounce! Bolin can't bury it. Looked like he had an open net and he couldn't get it by. And a great chance for Toronto set up by Troy Bodie in off the wing. Lars Eller back out to center. Gunnarsson stands him up in the neutral zone. He's backed up by Fraser. He's back to the puck. And that will remind us that the players voted in favor of hybrid icing, so the play was stopped in a hurry.
Well, one thing you're in favor of is the way that Troy Bodie has been skating, especially the last couple of exhibition games and here to start. What a save by Carey Price. He got a piece of that with the tail or the toe of his skate and then the glove. In desperation, somehow able to keep that one out from Bolin.
You're a coach, Simmer. You like the scoring chances in the first period of game one? Not so much.
Yeah, a little too loosey-goosey, huh?
Joffrey Lupul, Nikolai Kulemin, Nazem Kadri on the ice, and Lupul just missed a chance there. Paul Ranger lost the puck in his feet, but keeps it in. Tenorti trying to check Kulemin. Now he breaks up a cyclone play. Puck was gloved ahead by Nikolai Kulemin. The Nazem Kadri play is stopped.
Should be noted, too, guys, that Pacioretty is not on the bench, and that's not good news early in this hockey game. And it's a big hit by Colton Orr here. And Pacioretty, you see a little bit of a wince, and he hasn't been seen since. It's not good. You don't go down a body 14 minutes into your first National Hockey League game.
Oh, especially you don't want to lose a body like that. Likely to be, or supposed to be, the highest goal scorer on the team. Here comes Lars Eller, who has a goal in front. Brendan Gallagher. Randy Carlyle thinks it's offside. The Canadians and their fans love it. Brendan Gallagher, 2-1 Montreal.
Well, coaches will say you line up for a face-off with a purpose. And look at the energy that came from the Montreal Canadiens young guys. Galchenyuk came right through the middle and allowed this play to continue on. Gunnarsson gets knocked down. Look at the open up by Gallagher. He gets down on that bottom hand and that quick reaction. He's calling for an offside as Randy Carlyle didn't get it, and the Canadians make him pay.
Boy, it was close. Galchenyuk was going backwards at the blue line. Here's Kessel back the other way, and he's stopped by Price. Yeah, lots of scoring chances early on.
And the importance of face-offs. Again, I mean, there's a neutral zone face-off you don't think much of, and 6 seconds later it's in the back of your net. A nice aggressive play by the wingers getting involved and making it happen. Now you got a penalty here. Looks like a hold.
It is a holding penalty. It'll be against Toronto, and there's a few guys saying, who, me? Montreal's going to the power play on who, me? It's not much, but James Van Riemsdyk gets a holding penalty.
Well, after arguing a call, Randy Carlyle's not going to be that happy with that. Just the right hand of PK Subban gets grabbed by the left of Van Riemsdyk.
Just to be clear, here's the potential offside. No, not offside. It's a good call. Carlyle missed it. But what he should have been watching is the star player Kessel, who's -2. And it's the effort of Gallagher, who fought his way to the front of the net while Kessel watched him fly by.
Another Montreal face-off win to start their power play. Plekanec to the blue line. Andrei Markov takes the shot. Tipped loose puck in front. Hooked towards the net by Rennie Bourque. From the blue line, Subban held the puck in. On the other side to Markov. Gionta's in front of the net. Just to the side of it is Rennie Bourque, and he takes the pass from Plekanec. Thomas Plekanec again. Rennie Bourque out front. Couldn't get to his forehand and get the shot, and Subban couldn't get to the puck to keep it inside the blue line. Veteran Andrei Markov, 34 years old. PK Subban takes over and dumps the puck around on the boards. Plekanec will get there first. Up the boards to Markov. Plekanec turns with a little room. Markov heads for the front of the net. Subban's alone back at the blue line. Rennie Bourque to Plekanec. Dion for the separated the puck from him, and Kulemin gets it down the ice, and the penalty killers get a change. Kulemin out here with Dave Bolin, new to the penalty killing unit. The second best in the NHL last season. Fraser and Franson, familiar with each other, are back. David Desharnais left the puck at the blue line. Kuhlman jumped in and got it, cleared it.
Hey, look at the difference with the Leafs being a playoff team last year as opposed to the 7 years prior. Penalty killing a big part of that, down at the very bottom for so many years.
Bolin elected to be a big part of the penalty killing unit this year.
This is such a difference in the game. You know, you have a one-goal game. If you can keep it a one-goal game, you survive a first period on the road after a big kill.
Cody Franson fanned as he tried to clear the puck. Galchenyuk. Kenny Briere. Galchenyuk's gone to the front of the net. Diaz back at the line. Bouillon. Rafael Diaz's wrist shot went off Fraser and wide of the net. Briere takes over. Desharnais quickly back to Bouillon in the blue line. Penalty's almost over. Turning off the boards. Briere. Little give and go. Back in front. Didn't get there. And Van Riemsdyk is back on the ice. The Leafs have killed the penalty. Briere to the front of the net. Rejected there. Hard down the ice by Cody Franson. And an icing call against Toronto. So some tired penalty killers have to stay on the ice for a face-off in their own zone.
Dead tired. Cody Franson, you got to think of him. He's only really had 2 exhibition games under his belt, less than a week. And here's some good chances off the power play. Another one, Bourque almost gets the rebound through a crowd. And no timeout by Randy Carlyle here for this group.
The Canadians win the draw, complicating matters worse. Side of the net, Jay McClement got the puck from James Reimer. Van Riemsdyk gets it out, and the scramble is on for the Leafs to get a change. The Canadians will try and take advantage. Little tip in, missed by Paul Ranger. He recovers to Jake Gardiner. And the Leafs break up. Nikolai Kuhlman with Lupul streaking towards the net. Play is broken up for a moment. Ranger kept it in. Gallagher gets it back up. Lars Eller with 2 points already in the first period. A goal and an assist. He's chasing Jake Gardiner, who quickly got the puck out of his own zone. Kadri. Lupul made a nice move. Takes a shot. Couldn't get the A's shot, and it's loose in front of Carey Price. And Brendan Gallagher's back to get it in front of Joffrey Lupul, who stretched out his arms as if to say, I did nothing.
Well, a good play by Lupul not to continue on. He might have taken a penalty had he continued that hook. Wisely just let up.
Johnny Bourque got away from Nazem Kadri, trying to center for Giontek. He'll have to chase the puck to the end boards. Plekanec had a look around. To Bourque and to Giontek. He's got Markov back at the blue line. Diaz on the other side. The shot tipped off the glove of James Reimer on a nifty tip by Bourque. Diaz in a little trouble as he kept the puck in. He's backing up, and he's got the veteran Markov to look after him. Here comes Bourque in the middle. Giontek just wide of the net. Back the other way come the Maple Leafs. Troy Bodie gets moving in on Diaz. Little chip, and he chases and gets the puck first. Mason Raymond against Giontek, couldn't control the puck. Cody Franson on the other side. Gunnarsson fires, and Price makes a glove save, steering the puck to the corner. Canadians will get a chance to break up. 2-on-2 here. Plekanec end of his shift, dumps the puck in and heads for the bench.
For an active period, shots are 16-13 in just the first period here. The goaltenders at both ends have been sharp.
Phil Kessel with a shoot-in. PK Subban is back and turns up ice. Watched by Kessel. His partner Josh Georges. A shoot-in. Eller let the puck go. There's the shot. Tipped just wide of the net by Travis Mullen. From behind the net, Eller's wraparound is stopped by Reimer. George Parros now. Mullen in front of the net. Ranger chasing Parros. Hits him, but Parros bounced off. Laid the puck to Eller. His shot. Goaltender Reimer doesn't have his stick. Georges into Travis Mullen. From behind the net, Eller. One shot stopped by Reimer. Still without a stick. Another shot stopped by Reimer. Another shot by Georges is just wide. And now Reimer's got his stick back to center. James Van Riemsdyk barreling into the net. Got a weak shot away, then went wide of the goal. Wide open hockey on night 1 of the season. Van Riemsdyk goes down with Travis Mullen. Here comes Phil Kessel with a shot. That deflected off Georges, out of play. And Lars Eller got an extra shift there from Michel Therrien with the big guys on the fourth line, and he just about made it pay again.
He's been the hot hand, and you can see without his stick, Reimer, desperation, trying to get a hold of it. Made one great save and then another. The Leafs can't clear the puck out in front. Through a screen, Eller gets a good piece of it. Reimer equal to the task.
5 scoring chances for Montreal in the one shift. And at the other end, if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, I go into the locker room saying, guys, we are one shot away. Price does not look as sharp as he is in mid-season. He's had trouble with his skate. He's had trouble with a pad. Let's get into that locker room. We've had as many scoring chances as the Leafs.
Shots are 16-14. I think the scoring chances are about the same. From the blue line, Carl Gunnarsson on a Leaf face-off win in for Joffrey Lupul. Battling Diaz. Markov is there as well. So Lupul goes wide to the blue line. Gunnarsson. Dion Phaneuf takes the shot that was blocked. And Diaz moved the puck up the boards, didn't get it out. Running out of time in the period as the puck was knocked down out of the air. And play stopped with 16 seconds to go in the first period.
I think they're coming into this game. They talk around Montreal trying to answer questions. Are they going to be big enough to handle this Eastern Conference? It's going to be a tough Atlantic division with some big customers. The young guns, would they be able to continue? The sophomore slump maybe for Gallagher or Galchenyuk? Well, one period in, they've answered some pretty significant questions with a good period of hockey.
Awful end to the season for Lars Eller last season, but a pretty good start to this one. Canadians get the draw. Subban to center, and René Bourque dumps the puck in. Franson is back, knowing he's just about out of time in the period. So he just trying to eat the puck along the boards. And time will run out in a very entertaining first period in the first game of a new season. James Van Riemsdyk scored for Toronto early. Eller scored one and set one up for Montreal. Brendan Gallagher had the other goal, and the Canadians have a lead into the first intermission. The first edition of Dodd Cherry and the Coach's Corner coming up. You're watching Molson Canadian NHL Faceoff on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada.
NHL Faceoff, great way to get the season going. The first of our double bill. Winnipeg at Edmonton is the nightcap. 33 shots on goal in that first period. Montreal with 17 of them and a 2-1 lead. The big story though, Max Pacioretty left the game. It looked like an upper body injury after a hit by Colton Orr. He is not on the Habs bench. We will get you a medical update as soon as possible. Let's send it up now. Jim and Craig with your second period action. Guys.
What a first period for that egg line of Eller, Gallagher, Galchenyuk. 5 points in the first period of hockey. And without Pacioretty, they'll need them to continue on here. Colton Orr had but one hit in the first period, and it claimed a victim. Max Pacioretty looks like he's out of this game. So the second period begins after I'm sure that there was a little work on the wakeboard in both dressing rooms. In that first intermission, there were a lot of scoring chances in period number one. Josh Georges is back. And as Don mentioned, you play so many exhibition games, you don't get much practice time. You have too many people around. It's hard to work on your systems. Mechanics. Double teamed here by Tyler Bozak and James Van Riemsdyk, who opened the scoring for Toronto. Break out to center. Here's René Bourque. Plekanec racing to be with him. The pass, shot wide of the net by Plekanec. He did a great job of getting there and then couldn't finish. Back the other way. Bozak was poke check. Andrei Markov. And the play is stopped at the blue line.
You got another penalty coming here.
Too many men on the ice, I think.
Too many?
Look at Gardner, got caught watching that play, and that opened up the ice. Nice cross-seam pass, and that's a shot that went back the other way. So Franson, who played more than anybody on either team in that first period, was left alone there after Gardner got caught. There's Pacioretty in the background there. Hard to believe that you've had the whole... He looks like he's getting something taped up, trying to get a glove on.
So it looks like he's coming back into the game, and he can slow down though. He's not going to likely kill penalties.
Odd though that you had the entire intermission and then you don't get out there till the period starts.
Lots of treatment maybe before he felt like he was ready to go. Toronto's on the power play. Too many men on the ice. Montreal, a centering pass. Price cut that off from the blue line. Jake Gardner with Paul Ranger back in the point. Nazem Kadri delivers the puck to Jake Gardner. Here's Paul Ranger, a slap pass and a bouncing puck sent to the corner by Travis Mullen. And then he's able to clear the puck. Danny Briere, who doesn't kill penalties, is in the penalty box serving the Montreal penalty.
Yeah, they're looking to try to free him when he gets out. The first period with all the penalties limited his ice time as well, just over 4 minutes.
Mason Raymond has to regroup. Ranger with a pass to Joffrey Lupul. Nazem Kadri standing still, little back pass to Mason Raymond. Another back pass, and Plekanec was there. Stepping in front, moved the puck to Gionta. Brian Gionta stopped by Reimer. It might have been tipped as he shot it too. His stick was touched. Back comes Mason Raymond the other way. Sets up Kadri. Nice move. He shoots. Twice the save. Rebound off the post. Raymond's backhander went off the post. Loophole to Mason Raymond to the blue line. Dion Phaneuf has Gardner on the other side. Phaneuf blasts a shot. That's deflected wide by Carey Price in the Montreal net. Lots of chances again in the second period, and Buchanan pokes the puck down the ice.
Lots of battle in Carey Price there. Those are 2 rebound saves. That one glove save in the first period was in real desperation. That one there, another great chance. Good speed on both ends with these 2 teams.
Stretch pass to Van Riemsdyk to get him in on the attack. 20 seconds left in this man advantage for Toronto. 1 for 2 in their opportunities tonight. Scored 5 on 3 in the first period. Dion Phaneuf. It's a return pass on the other side. Cody Franson can't load up. Phaneuf with a tip through. Kessel shoots, blocked. Another shot just wide of the net. Bouncing puck. Van Riemsdyk gets a hold. It's a return pass on the other side. Cody Franson can't load up. Phaneuf with a tip through. Kessel shoots, blocked. Another shot just wide of the net. Bouncing puck. Van Riemsdyk gets a hold of it. Cody Franson, penalties over. Briere's back on. Franson with a shot tipped wide of the net. There's James Van Riemsdyk trying to get open as Bozak. Kessel's along the boards, plays the puck back. Phaneuf shoots. That's blocked fearlessly by Eller without a stick. And then he used his hand to clear the puck. Well, the teams are 5 on 5 again. As the fans applaud a hit by Brendan Gallagher on Dion Phaneuf. Stretch pass. Got away from Mason Raymond, and there's an icing call against Toronto.
Well, there's no substitute for speed, and you see speed on both ends. Gionta thinks he has an opening here off of an errant drop pass. He beats Ranger. But watch Gardner come into your screen. He gets stick on stick there and affects his shot at the other end. Kadri through the middle. Watch the first save, and then the acrobatic second save by Price getting over to his right and getting the blocker on that puck.
Pacioretty's back on the bench, but Brandon Prust is in his spot on this forward line for Montreal. Danny Briere on the right side.
Ice level, guys. Montreal looks quicker to me.
Quick shot by Prust, and that's stopped by James Reimer. Another shot off the side of the net. David Desharnais trying to walk out front to the blue line. Subban, side of the net. Reimer got over and made a great save. Danny Briere, who got pushed to the boards by Cody Franson. Mason Raymond in his own zone, off the boards to Dave Bolland, and out. Bodie races after the puck, beats Desharnais, and his backhander was stopped by Price from a sharp angle. Here's Daniel Briere again. Chips the puck in, his mates want to change. Paul Ranger moves the puck quickly. Carter Ashton out of his own zone to center. Jay McClement going backwards, couldn't take the pass. Rafael Diaz is a first man back. He's bumped, but his partner, Andrei Markov, is there to get the puck. Here's breakout to center. Travis Moen trying to come up the middle. Here's Parros with a nice pass just behind Lars Eller. And a referee is hurt and down on the ice. And now we got a tussle, and the referee, Steve Kozari, is back up, and he's okay. Here's Colton Orr and George Parros. Parros tried to goad Orr into a fight after the hit on Pacioretty in the first period, and he's finally got him going here in the second. This is the 7th time in the NHL and AHL that Colton Orr and George Parros have fought. Apparently Parros feels his shoulder is just fine.
No bigger test on the Toronto Maple Leafs for Parros to test it out with than Colton Orr. This one goes back to the first period though, and you knew sooner or later when they got on the ice, a little pushing and shoving by Fraser initiated it after Kozari he gets hit with the puck here on the off the glass, and it was a stick actually that got him in the corner, not the puck. And then the reaction afterwards, one push with Fraser, Orr comes in, and it all starts.
Well, it started in the first period. You're right, Simmer, you mentioned it. So let's revisit it. Let's take a look back at what happened to Pacioretty. Home ice has not been good for him. Here's the tough hit by Colton Orr. Pacioretty goes off. Challenge, the next shift, the two are on the ice. Parros is signed to do just that. Yes, Montreal's speedy. They're not big. They're not going to grow, so you sign Parros to stand up for your teammates. And there's Pacioretty. There's their injury. There's the taped up left wrist. And the first chance the two get to dance in the second period, they do. Montreal, 13 fights in the preseason. Parros had none of them because of his shoulder. Last year, 25 for the Montreal Canadiens. You can guarantee the number's going to rise with 15 in the lineup.
And Toronto led the league with 44.
Well, here's Steve Kozari. Watch Parros. His stick comes up there. It's actually Fraser's stick that got him in the nose. We saw the puck coming around and hitting him afterwards. And then the play continued on the other way, and Fraser and Parros went at it, and Colton Orr came in.
You knew that was going to happen tonight because George Parros was hired for that job, and he'd have to demonstrate that he's willing to do it on night number one. And he was given the reason by Colton Orr, who had the one hit in the first period. It was on Pacioretty. Now, Kozari is in the training room of the Montreal Canadiens being looked after, and Kelly Sutherland will continue to referee this game all by himself.
You think of the Atlantic Division, all the big tough guys that are here, the answer, night in and night out. As we saw last year with the Leafs, there was a fight almost every night. And
there were 214 fights amongst the teams that are now in the Atlantic Division last season.
Won't be 215 with Detroit in there.
Yeah.
They don't seem to want to take that position up.
They'll bring that average down a little, you think?
Absolutely. It's not working for them, though. It's only 21 straight years in the playoffs.
You don't think that Goonie Alfredsson's going to make a difference?
I'm not going to comment.
They're just going to keep playing the same way that they always have. It'll be interesting to see how the other teams in the division play against them to try and slow them down, because if you just let them play, they'll run over you.
That puck possession game, it's been their calling card.
There's PK Subban. Screen shot went wide of the net. Phil Kessel. With Van Riemsdyk and Bozak playing against the Plekanec line since the start of the game at 5-on-5. Plekanec to the front of the net, no harm done. Andrei Markov. He takes the shot way wide of the net. Subban will gamble on the other side, and Van Riemsdyk got the puck by it.
And no icing there because of the pinch by Subban, even though the puck just went straight down. Felt that he could have made a play on.
Markov with a pass up the middle, tipped in by Galchenyuk. Gallagher and Eller. Eller's playing double duty. He's centering two lines right now because Pacioretty still hasn't come back, and Prost is playing on the first line in his spot. There's Mark Fraser. Might as well play the hot hand. Eller had 5 shots and 2 blocked in the first period, a pair of points, a goal and an assist.
And as you mentioned, after the bad concussion to end the playoffs last year, that's just such a great sign early on to see him skating the way he is.
Kadri tried to make a pass. Danny Briere stopped him. Markov. Here's Galchenyuk, the 19-year-old. Youngest one on the line, made a nice move to get away from Kulemin. Here's Briere. Galchenyuk still with him to the net. The shot didn't get through Carl Gunnarsson. And the Maple Leafs are back in their own zone. Joffrey Lupul. Carl Gunnarsson off the boards. Reading that perfectly was Jared Tenorti, and he held the puck in. David Desharnais. There's Pacioretty back on the ice. First shift since he got hit by Orr in the first period. Wonder if he can shoot.
It's that bottom hand, that real power hand. It'll be interesting as right. He can control the puck with his top hand a little and maybe not get all of his shot on.
Lupul shot one wide of the net. Gets a change. Troy Bodie. He's had a pretty good start to this game, skating well as he did in the last exhibition game. Mason Raymond gets away from the check, turns, and he's stopped by Price. And the rebound's gobbled up by Pacioretty. And he handles the puck to center. Moving in on Cody Franson, gets the shot. Rebound is taken away by Jake Gardner. After he corralled it, it bounced off him. And Subban's back in his own zone. Bodie forces him to make a move. Bolin got in and got a hit on Josh Georges. Desharnais with his shooting. Travis Moen in on the forecheck. Galchenyuk there as well. Mason Raymond gets the puck at center to Troy Bodie. Goes wide and chips the puck in on Georges. Prust is back. Jay McClement and he come together on the boards. Prust up the middle. That's skipped by Travis Moen and goes all the way down the ice. Not enough for icing as Fraser gets back. Uses the net as a pick and starts out very quickly. His pass hit McClement in the skates. Icing's waved off. Diaz to Markov. Then the Canadiens quickly get the puck out of their own zone. Fraser with the lead, and again the puck doesn't get to the goal line, and Moen got a hit on Fraser and knew it was coming. Paul Ranger. Carter Ashton. Eyes wide, Rennie Bourque trying to catch him, and he does, and he takes him hard to the boards. Ashton bounces right off, cycles back. Phil Kessel, Paul Ranger, Dion Phaneuf, just wide of the net, and Kessel can't get the carom off the end boards. And the Canadians, Thomas Plekanec sends the puck down the ice. Gianta's ahead, so icing's waved off. Plekanec in behind the net. Rennie Bourque after the puck. Kadri got there first. Tinordi pinching, and now the big defenseman is caught. Here comes Kadri in on a forward. Plekanec across the ice. Phaneuf shoots, scores! What a great shot by the captain of the Maple Leafs, Dion Phaneuf, and he ties this game 2-2.
A great shot, but also a good net drive back to everybody off. As you see, both Ashton and Kulemin driving to the net, that created the space. Plays made at the defensive blue line. Kadri just buys himself a little bit of time, cross-seam pass, and you can see a pick there by Kulemin backing up, not allowing Tinordi to get there. And this is just shooter beating goaltender. A perfectly placed shot, a quick wrister by Phaneuf up and over the glove of Price.
You bang on there with Kulemin. You got to give him an assist here. It was his play on Tinordi that basically eliminated Tinordi from any type of play. And it's just a free walk 15 feet down the pipe for a 90-mile-an-hour wrist shot over the glove.
Maybe an ill-advised pinch by big Jared Tinordi. And he got beat by Kadri at the blue line, who made a net pass to Dion Phaneuf, and it's a 2-2 game. And here comes Joffrey Lupul. On his own, his mates are changing. Gunnarsson has now joined him, and Phil Kessel comes off the bench as the play is made to Gardner. Lupul, he turns away from PK Subban. Back to the blue line, Gunnarsson has to chase the puck, and here's Max Pacioretty. After the puck, and a penalty being called here by Kelly Sutherland. And it's a penalty against the Montreal Canadiens again, and it's Pacioretty who's heading to the box. And here's the little hook in the hands on Nazem Kadri. They're back, and as usual, they mean business. Watch the season premiere tomorrow at 8 on CBC TV. Max Pacioretty must feel like he's in a Dragon's Den already tonight.
Well, we watched the shift to see if he's in any type of pain. He was stick handling. Shot the puck, he seems to be okay, but no, his facial expression on the bench tells it all as he grimaces. Got now 2 referees on the ice. Mazzari is back. Sutherland has a partner at the party.
I wonder how well he can see. Leafs on the power play. They're 1 for 4 in the game, and it's tied. Cody Franson into the middle of the ice. Here's Phil Kessel. Bouncing puck, he had to settle it down. Got Phaneuf at the point. He gets the pass from Tyler Bozak. Van Riemsdyk screening. Cody Franson, Phaneuf. Here's Kessel. Walks in and shoots. Price the save. Rebound is loose. Bozak and Van Riemsdyk are there. Neither could shovel it by Carey Price.
A little different power play look this year by the Leafs. That little 1-3-1 trying to hit the middle guy. Open up some ice on the outside. They almost got it down low with an outman position at the net.
Phil Kessel along the boards. Got away from Brandon Prust. Van Riemsdyk knocked down, trying to go up the ladder to get the puck. Cody Franson, nice job to hold a bouncing puck into the line. Kessel, big screen in front. Phaneuf, Franson takes the shot. Price the save. Rebound. Van Riemsdyk can't get to it. Georges does. Held in again by Franson, just about outside the line. Phil Kessel trying to draw the defender in, and his pass was intercepted and cleared by Josh Georges. Long change, and the penalty killers scramble to the bench. Power play's changing up as well. Short-handed. Markov half-heartedly went after the puck and decided he better back off. And now the power play gets a chance to come up. Mason Raymond on the second unit. Joffrey Lupul jumps up and carries the puck in on Jared Tinordi. Raymond is right there with him. Kadri's in the slot. Jake Gardner from the blue line holds the puck into Mason Raymond. Markov comes at him. The pass for Lupul, read perfectly by Jared Tinordi. Lars Eller to Markov and out.
Another good play by Eller there, reading off his defenseman, supporting him down low, and instead of panicking with the puck, just a little no-look backhand to an area to clear it away.
One last rush with a man advantage. As Kadri gets the puck deep, Markov first man back. Good stick there by Troy Bodie, and then he got bowled over by Tinordi. Pacioretty's back on. Teams are 5-on-5, and Toronto's 1 for 5 in the power play. There's a turnover, by Markov to Mason Raymond. Jake Gardiner. And the Canadians wanted to get that puck out and get a change. Bodie. Markov ran into him and bounced off. Gardiner pinches down the boards, trying to turn back. Shielding the puck from Danny Briere, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. Is it against Briere?
It is a hold. Just a little
Jake
over-aggressive as Gardiner pinched in, and the Leafs will go back to the power play when we come back.
Danny Briere is headed for the penalty box. Toronto to its 6th power play of the game. You're watching Molson Canadian NHL Faceoff on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. Of Hockey Night in Canada, and our doubleheader tonight features Winnipeg and Edmonton like it used to be in the old Smythe division. Now they're both in the West. Wherever you're watching across the country, we'd like to say a special hello to you tonight and to the Canadian troops in Operation Attention in Kabul, Afghanistan, on board HMCS Toronto in the Persian Gulf, to our contingent in Egypt. Wherever you're serving and watching, glad you're with us tonight. And we salute you. Maple Leafs on their 6th power play. Phil Kessel. Dion Phaneuf, James Van Riemsdyk parked in front. Bozak high in the slot. Here's Kessel. Snaps a shot. Just missed the net. And Phaneuf has to go over in behind Cody Franson to hold the puck in. Thomas Plekanec sends the puck down the ice, and the penalty killers change.
Well, so far, Kessel has had a number of opportunities on that offside to try to get a puck through. Hasn't been able to get the look and the shot that he wanted. A couple times blocked, and a couple times like that one, it's gone wide.
What do they want Bozak to do high in the slot?
Yeah, it's a different look. As he said, it's almost like a 1-3-1. 3 across the top of the dots. He's more just a quick outlet pass. And you could say maybe trying to suck a defender in. You could see the one at the top, 3 across the middle. But Bozak's not in a one-time position on that side. And there, Kessel gets just a little bit impatient, tries to force it through.
If I'm a goalie, I enjoy that.
Yeah, leave him there, right?
Great. What's going to do, direct the puck from 30 feet? That'll be a tough save. Not so much. Almost like win the draw, get off, and get the right guy out there, because Kessel's the side you're going to work on.
Second unit's on the ice. Nazem Kadri has the puck. The net presence is Joffrey Lupul. Mason Raymond out of the corner to Nazem Kadri. Rangers moving in. The puck comes out front. Rangers shot. Stopped by Carey Price. It hit him and bounced into the corner. Another chance from the blue line. Jake Gardiner, and a trip in front of the net by Nazem Kadri on Andrei Markov, and now they're both going to go. Chip and a dive, maybe?
Yeah, I think when he watched it in his mind after, Kozari maybe thought that Markov went down easier. A very different look. Now you got an overload power play here that gets a good cross-seam pass, traffic in front, and Lupul trying to get after that puck. You be the judge here. Kadri wants the puck. Yeah, there's not much of a cross-check, an easy fall. And the fans react to the call.
Markov might have been reacting to Kadri when he went down so easily when Pacioretty hooked him.
It didn't look initially. I actually, as I watched the replay on the big screen, Kozari right away was pointing at both players.
So the power play continues for Toronto for another 45 seconds.
It's interesting, though, that second unit has a different look. So this one does that 1-3-1 up top, and the other one an overload on that right side. Try to keep the penalty killers guessing different looks.
Here's Van Riemsdyk out front, and it's shot just wide by Tyler Bozak. Pacioretty getting some ice time killing a penalty here. It's been a tough night for Michel Therrien to get his top players into the game. They've been shorthanded so much. Phil Kessel flying, but he lost the puck. David Desharnais and Max Pacioretty get a shift here, killing a penalty, just to keep them into the game.
Well, I'll say this about the dive. If I was to pick any of the 40 players that are playing tonight and think about who would be more likely to dive, he might be one of my last picks.
It wouldn't have been Markov?
Not at all. In fact, it's Kadri with the diving penalty last year. I can't see it in Markov's DNA.
James Van Riemsdyk. Dave Bolin, penalty over, 5-on-5 again. Van Riemsdyk with some speed in after the puck, tried to feed Kessel. Cut off by the other number 81, and Lars Eller's out to center. Galchenyuk and Gallagher are with him as he fends off Dave Bolin. And there's a penalty coming up here. And it'll be a holding call on Bolin. Montreal gets a power play. Bolin got behind and got chasing Lars Eller and gets a penalty on Hockey.
Welcome back for our Hockey Night Bio presented by Subway. Dave Bolin in the penalty box. That's not good, but he enjoyed his summer bringing the cup back to Mimico, Ontario, scored the cup-winning goal. They brought him here because they love his leadership. He said he learned leadership from Marty Lapointe. Said Marty Lapointe wasn't a big rah-rah guy, but he just always led by example. He also says he's ready for this rivalry because he dealt with Canucks and Hawks all those years. Jim.
Danny Briere won a draw with Bolin in the penalty box. Subban, Rafael Diaz, Desharnais in front of the net, and the puck is worked out there, but the Leafs all collapsed to the goal, and Nikolai Kulemin cleared it.
It'll be interesting to watch Pacioretty here where he lines up. I mean, given what Glenn was showing, a little bit of pain in that left hand, the bottom hand, probably just the positioning in front and not necessarily the trigger man.
He can do a lot of good just parked in front of the net. Loose puck comes to Subban from Desharnais. Diaz instead of Markov in this power play. And Diaz passes the puck in to Daniel Briere. David Desharnais. Pacioretty's out in the slot. Gunnarsson took the puck away. Hard around the glass and out. And the Leafs practiced that a lot this morning. Their defensemen just getting back and hard rim around the glass and out.
And the way the ice looked this morning, it was a little rough. There were a lot of weird bounces as we just saw that one there going around the boards. Pretty new ice here, and it's a little bumpy.
And it's a humid day. Here's Galchenyuk. He was poke checked by Mason Raymond. PK Subban. Alex Galchenyuk. Had Bouillon sneaking in off the left point of the backdoor play, but couldn't get him the puck. Galchenyuk to Brendan Gallagher. Lars Eller in front of the net wanted the puck. Now he gets it. Not in a shooting position, though. To Gallagher. Went through him. Bouillon shoots. That's blocked in front of the net. That was blocked by Mark Fraser. Galchenyuk to Gallagher. Bouillon. Gallagher again towards the net. Galchenyuk give and go. Looking for Eller in front of the net. And that's knocked out of the air and cleared. And Gallagher's holding his face. Looks like he might have got a stick. And now he's headed for the bench with about a dozen seconds to go in the penalty. Subban leading the rush on the power play, and his shot is deflected by Jake Gardiner of the Leafs out of play.
Well, he's always around the net, is Brendan Gallagher, and when you're around the net, when you're that size, you're going to get a few that come after you. And this one's just a swing of the stick as Fraser comes and gets it and puts it off of his face. Watch the effort. There it is. He goes down and tries to draw a penalty, doesn't get it. Nice play by Ranger going down and taking away the ice, though, not allowing anything cross seam.
5 seconds left in the penalty to Bolin.
Real eye-opener to Gallagher last year when he didn't play and was a scratch against the Leafs in the opener. How'd that work out for him? He learned his lesson and was up for the Calder.
George is trying to hold the puck in. Penalty's over. Bolin's back on. And the Canadians are 0 for 3 with a man advantage. Bolin with a rolling puck. Just moved it off the boards. Bozak can't get to it. Buchanan gets a hold of it. And now Montreal starts out. There's Rennie Port. In on Franson. Nothing doing there. The puck's deflected to the end boards. Nifty little tip off the boards by Bozak. Dave Bolin was sprung free. Here's Van Riemsdyk to Bolin, barging towards the net, and Price had to make a save. Cody Franson backpedaling, watched by Rennie Bourque. Wing wide to Gardiner in his skates. Shots are now 26-23 Toronto. 2-2 tie on opening night on Hockey Night in Canada. Van Riemsdyk had a teammate offside, so he went for a skate. Hush has come over to building. Over the 5-on-5 play for a while, and now there's going to be a scrap between Travis Moen and Mark Fraser. Fraser didn't used to wear a visor, and he better not take his helmet off. They're both going to get it.
He talked him into it, almost embarrassed him into it.
After a serious injury to his forehead, I wondered if Mark Fraser would fight.
I guess he's sending the message here that he will. I think he's going to get the extra, though, with what he did to Prust.
He'd lost his stick, and he went after him and knocked him down in front of the net. These two holding each other off, and now they're going to try and get inside it. Throwing haymakers, and they're both down.
Really interesting to see the call early on.
So they'll each get 5, and they'll each get 2. So 7 minutes for sure each, and Fraser might get an extra 2.
The arm was up before the fight with the altercation between Fraser and Prust. The question is, will Prust get anything? He came by and knocked the stick of Fraser down, and then Fraser came right back at him. And this was the negotiating. Come on, I'm going to take mine off. You're going to take yours? No. Come on, I'm going to take it off. And neither player wanted to get tricked by the other and take the extra 2. They both did it at the exact same time.
And the issue to me here with the 7 minutes, you know, the tough guys fight. Parros fights in 7 minutes, no big deal. He goes 17 minutes without playing a shift at times. But Fraser's a defenseman.
Yeah.
And you only have 6, and he's going to play. They play back-to-back. They've got to travel to Philly. So you're going to use your bench, and you can't use your bench for pretty much half of the third period.
Let's bring in David Amber.
Well, guys, you were wondering about Mark Fraser's game with the visor, and I can tell you he said his game would not change. The visor obviously became basically mandatory. His season ended abruptly last year. Took a puck to the face in the playoffs versus Boston. Suffered a fractured frontal lobe. He needed surgery and a plate inserted into his forehead. He was told it would be at least a 5-6 month full recovery. So he is fighting. His game hasn't changed. He said his mom and the doctor talked him into putting the visor on. Guys?
They also tried to talk him into not fighting.
Yeah.
But he says that's part of the game that he plays.
I think the Leafs are going to get that extra 2. So a power play chance here for the Montreal Canadiens. As Fraser, with his altercation with Prust, Randy Carlyle gets the explanation. I'm not sure he's going to like it. And that was going to be the danger if Fraser had taken his helmet off too. It would have been a 5-on-3.
And it looked like Travis Mullen wanted Fraser to throw his down, and then he was just going to leave it on.
Take him out, but he didn't.
So going over to serve the penalty is Phil Kessel. This is the 4th power play for Montreal, the 10th power play of the game. The Leafs have had 6, and now Markov's in trouble. Stealing the puck is Bozak. Breakaway, scores! Tyler Bozak, shorthanded, 3-2 Toronto.
That awful feeling of being on your back foot, standing still at the offensive blue line. Markov loses control of the puck for a split second. It's rolling back to him, loses it, now he's off balance. He's not going to win this race. Tries to get a little hook in there, and what a quick read by Bozak. No hesitation, quick forehand, and Glenn, you had the perfect view of it there.
And here's the view that I had, and I think it's a bad goal. Carey Price is deep. He's cheating. He's moving. That puck wasn't to the top of the net, wasn't to the bottom of the net. It was to the middle of the net with no velocity.
3rd shorthanded goal of the career of Tyler Bozak. Notice the last power play Montreal had. Markov wasn't on it. Rafael Diaz was, and he came back out on this one with PK Subban and seconds into the penalty. Got caught and gave up a shorthanded goal.
That was a good read by Bozak, though. He did read the fact that Price was really backing up. That speed, maybe with Markov on pursuit as well. It didn't really develop as a real clear-cut breakaway. It was more a real sprint. And I think you're right, Glenn. The timing of Price was really off there.
Time to make a big save there. You're on the power play, 2 minutes left to go.
Brendan Gallagher in on this power play now. Galchenyuk and Eller. What has been the Canadiens' best line tonight. PK Subban takes a shot. Reimer made a nice save in traffic. Markov on the other side. Hard pass. Lars Eller delays. Now feeds the puck back. Andrei Markov shoots. Great save by Reimer, and he's down on top of the puck and stops play. And now he's just going to get out of the way with Mayhem in the crease.
Well, 2 really solid plays going on here as Eller, who's been all over the ice for the Montreal Canadiens, gets a chance. But watch the reaction of Ranger. Goes down and takes away the ice and forces Eller to back up. That buys time for everyone else to get in a good box-out position. And a great save by Reimer as he followed that one across, then the bodies flow. You could see how quickly Reimer got across, shuffled out a little bit to the top of his blue, and then everybody piling on after that.
Kudos to the compete of Galchenyuk and Gallagher. These 2 guys, look at the battle in front of the net. 2 against 4. They don't back down. But you're right, Markov's little delay allows Reimer to get set, get aggressive, get square. He makes it look easy.
Just over a minute and a half to go in the period and under a minute to go in the penalty. Being served by Phil Kessel. And Dion Phaneuf is down on top of the puck. Where is Jake Doyle? I'm sure you're asking. Find out on the explosive season premiere of Republic of Doyle. That's coming up tomorrow at 9 on CBC. Hockey Night in Canada. The NHL face-off from Montreal. Another game to come. Winnipeg and Edmonton. Back half of our doubleheader tonight. Montreal still on the power play. Ryan Gianta, Rafael Diaz, Rennie Bourque in front of the net. Gianta has passed, went off a stick around the boards. Plekanec to the blue line, and Bouillon tried to keep the puck in. Another good read there by Bozak, who just kept coming up to tip the puck out. And now he'll hustle to the bench on a change. Jay McClement stays on. They're the mainstays amongst the forwards on the Toronto penalty kill. Diaz gets the puck in deep. Chopped down by Dion Phaneuf. Ryan Gianta, last minute of the second period. Phaneuf and Bourque battle. Penalty's almost over. Kessel set to come back on. Diaz fanned on the shot. Backhander stopped by Reimer. Diaz didn't get much on the first one. He still forced Reimer to make a save, and then he was stopped on the backhander.
It's one of those, the whiff by Diaz almost ended up to his advantages. It was an aggressive play. Watch how quickly Reimer comes out thinking it's going to be hard, and to his credit, he was able to keep his ground and not overshoot it as that one came right back at him.
So Montreal's now 0 for 4 on the power play and has given up a shorthanded goal.
And something Toronto only scored one shorthanded goal in the 48-game season last year, so they got one here in game number 1.
What a game though, 55 shots already.
Yeah,
and
we're wide open.
We got 21 or more minutes left to go.
Whoa, that was a scary situation in behind the net. Josh Georges was swinging to the puck in the air and couldn't quite get it with his fly swatter. Cody Franson. There's Paul Ranger. There's rink wide pass. Phil Kessel with a little room. Snaps a shot. Price gloved it. Couldn't catch it. And Georges comes back to get the puck. Dozen seconds to go in the period. There's Brendan Gallagher. Off the wing. Took a shot that was blocked. Galchenyuk corrals it for Gallagher in front. Doesn't get there. Kadri went down and made the block. And now the period comes to an end with Ranger hanging on to Brendan Gallagher at the side of the net. Canadians had a 2-1 lead into the second period. Dion Phaneuf and Tyler Bozak shorthanded scored for Toronto. Tyler Bozak in conversation with David Amber coming up. You're watching Molson Canadian NHL Face-Off on Hockey Night in Canada.
Long Hockey Night in Canada, season opening face-off, 3-2 Leafs after 40 minutes. 57 shots wide open at times. Toronto an impressive 22-1 when leading after 2 periods last year. They'll look for continued success game 1 of this season. Jim, Craig, and Glenn, the third period call. Guys.
Tyler Bozak with his first goal this season. I bet, Craig, you love getting your first goal on night number 1. It's probably a signal that everything's going to be good this season.
Absolutely. You got to eliminate those zeros as quick as you can. Get that out of your mind, and no better way to do it than shorthanded.
Tyler Bozak with Phil Kessel on his right side. Kessel, 26 years old tomorrow. What a birthday gift.
Was it ever? Huh?
Van Riemsdyk on the left side. He scored tonight. Now he has the puck. Here's Phil Kessel trying to feed the point. Franson thought about pinching. Now he's backing off. Here comes Alex Galchenyuk with Gallagher. Gallagher shoots, and a nice blocker save by James Reimer, who's been good tonight. Cody Franson, Montreal's best line. Lars Eller takes a shot that's blocked. Brendan Gallagher and Alex Galchenyuk, but they get robbed of a little ice time because of all the power plays. There's been 10 of them in the game. Josh Georges backing up. PK Subban dumps the puck in, and Montreal starts to change. Toronto does the same thing. Andrei Markov to Rennie Bourque. He was checked. Nazem Kadri took the puck away. He's out with Joffrey Lupul. Nikolai Kulemin, who takes the pass on his backhand, feeds Lupul. His shot deflected by Plekanec out of play.
Talk about the success of that young line coming in. They've been the difference for the Montreal Canadiens. you're right, it's a challenge when you have a penalty-filled game to get them the ice time, but they've been efficient with it. All of them involved. And so much for the early sophomore slump. Both Gallagher and Galchenyuk looking very confident in their first game back.
Galchenyuk 19. Here's Bolin with a shot way wide of the net. Gallagher at 21 and the grizzled veteran on the line is Lars Eller at 24.
This is a line that needs to get going for Montreal here. Patanitz, Gianta, and Bourque.
Especially with Max Pacioretty with a bad wrist.
Yeah.
So their top line has lost its top scorer, or at least his effectiveness, it would seem. Mason Raymond. On home ice, this will probably be a checking line for Randy Carlyle. It's been tough to figure matchups tonight because there's been so much power play time. Barry Price played the puck on the boards. Troy Bodie just ran over Daniel Briere. Troy's a big body. This is the second time he's been in an opening night lineup, and it's both times with Randy Carlyle. He was number 50 with Anaheim a couple of years ago on opening night.
He's a very simple player. You know what you're getting. And for $600,000 and a team like Toronto that's cash strapped because of the cap, he is perfectly priced.
Give him credit. He's done what he's had to be noticed, too.
He's skated better than we've seen him skate before.
And that's what Randy likes, predictable players that he knows. Put him on the ice. It's a north-south game.
Randy calls him a no-maintenance player.
And it is important, too, as a newcomer to be a personality that'll mesh well with the players, and that's never been a problem for him.
Here's Carter Ashton headed for the net, takes the shot, Price the save. Orr was there after the rebound, and Colton Orr is grabbed onto by PK Subban, who holds on for dear life. A 2-on-1 with Carter Ashton and Colton Orr, two players who barely got on the ice in the second period. And now Ashton's dropped his gloves. Brandon Prust wanted in there. Jared Tenorti was there first.
Another youngster just making himself known as Tenorti.
I wonder sitting at home what Mark Tenorti and Brent Ashton think about this. Two kids of longtime NHL players in a scrap in Montreal.
And Ashton took that one and got up. That was a direct shot. And Peros and Orr now going at it in front. Orr was going back at PK Subban. Wow. Oh, Peros is out. He is out cold.
Oh my goodness.
He hit his
down
face
hard
on the ice, and he is out cold.
The second bout of the game for George Peros and Colton Orr. These two in the National Hockey League. Colton Orr has fought 124 times. George Peros 160 times. And in one of their fights a few years ago, you may remember that it was Colton Orr who went down hard and hit his head on the ice, and we thought his career might be over after that scrap against George Peros.
And here's an example of, everybody gets involved and likes the action of a fight, but this place is deathly silent in watching this.
Hardest thing you can hit someone with is the ice. And that's the reason that players this year, there's a penalty for taking your helmet off. That's one good way to have real damage done to you if you bang your head on the ice.
And he should not be getting up right now. You could see he wants to get up, and Doctor's trying to keep him down. He just went right over the top of Orr, and without anything to stop his momentum, his face was what hit first.
Because he was hanging on, trying to engage in the scrap. And now wisely they're bringing a stretcher onto the ice. A gurney will take George Peros off here. But what a tough opening night for the Montreal Canadiens. They're behind in the game. Max Pacioretty's already been hurt. And now this with George Peros having to be helped off the ice. And so an early season, first game in the Atlantic Division, has the division living up to its billing.
And the impact of this as Bergevin looked on. I mean, this isn't a short-term thing. When you're out like that, you're at least a week or so for Peros. And it's one that obviously you have great concern going forward as he hit himself very heavily on the ice.
Well, it's a tough play. I mean, here he's brought in to do exactly this, and that is stand up for your teammates. He does a good job. It's the second tilt of the night. Takes advantage of the fight, but he's got his hands tied up, and as he's heading over, he has no way to protect himself from head first, chin down on the ice.
And you could see he had his eyes closed there too. Even in the bout, he thought that Orr was there to hit, and Orr had slipped and fallen down. Scary thoughts.
Orr's response was scared as well. He gets up right away and signals for the doctor to come out.
He's talking, communicating with the doctor, and moving. In fact, as you saw, he tried to get up, and they've wisely said, no, that's not a good thing, so they'll help him off the ice on a stretcher here. Fourth scrap of the game, the second one between Orr and Parros.
And all this happened because Orr and Subban were jawing at each other and going back and forth, and
while Tinordi and Ashton were fighting.
The focus went to the corner, and everybody forgot about Orr for a second, and then Orr and Subban went back at each other, and that's why Parros came in.
I thought Carter Ashton was a player that was hit on the button and potentially knocked down and out as well. He seemed to have a great deal of difficulty after he was punched.
And he's
by
gone
Tinordi.
He's gone to the dressing room while Tinordi sits in the penalty box. No easy job, this enforcer, tough guy role in the National Hockey League.
I live by the sword, die by the sword, and these fighters know a code, and they also have a lot of class in what they do. And Colton Orr there right away, no extra shot, get some help out here now. I've been in this situation before.
And he's been in that situation before after a fight with George Parros.
Well, there's so many adjustments to the game and trying new things. For those who are saying fighting, trying to get it out of the game, these are the moments why. I mean, you look at the danger and you look at how quiet this building is, and you hope that for the sake of George, everything's going to be okay at the end of it.
Yeah, it all seems wildly entertaining until something like this happens.
Absolutely.
And it is somewhat ironically part of the reason the National Hockey League implemented a rule that players can't take their helmets off during a fight is because they didn't want somebody hitting their head on the ice and being injured that way. And Parros didn't take his helmet off, but he went face first to the ice.
Don Sanderson, a player out of Whitby, Ontario, playing in a seniors league. That exact situation happened to him, and he passed away. Hit his head on the ice, no helmet, and he died. And if that happens in this game, the National Hockey League, fighting will be gone from the game.
Well, I guess you ask, Glenn, why does it need to happen for that to happen?
It's a great debate, and I think fighting has been eroded in a lot of different ways. And even something as simple as having all players have visors that are coming into the game with 25 games or less. The speed of the game, you see less of that role of a player.
Except in the Atlantic Division. Now, there's a bit of a change here since the 04-05 lockout, when it looked like for a while that all of the tough enforcers were going to be gone from the game. All of a sudden, there's this Popeye arms race that's going on again. And the Atlantic Division is somewhat like we used to jokingly call the old Chuck Norris division. Yeah. In the 80s and 90s, where the games were 3.5 hours long and everybody had fighters, and one team would get another fighter because the other team had two, and that's exactly what's happened in the Atlantic Division. Why do you think Florida just made a trade to get Chris Barch back? Because they've got to play in this division where there are so many tough fighters.
When you look at what the impact of this scenario will have on the outcome of this game, and the concern in the building, on the benches, is focused on George Parros.
Well, one thing on any team I've ever played on, the guys that fight battles for everybody else but themselves, like George Parros, like a Ty Domi when I played in Toronto, they are very popular players.
Let's hope this is precautionary, that George is okay. He has been communicating, as you've seen. He has been moving all his extremities. In fact, tried to get up, and they chose to strap him down and take him off this way.
At the end of all that too, Jim, it looks like we're not going to have any power plays. Here he had a good chance at the net as Ashton goes in or goes for the rebound. You can see the ensuing rumble between he and Subban. At the other end, Tenorti ends up taking exception to that shot by Ashton, and they drop the gloves. Prust was trying to get in there. Tenorti ended up. And at the end of that fight in the front of the net, Oren Parros ended up getting back at it.
And Carter Ashton took a hard punch, and he's in the dressing room, and Parros is now gone. And in this very quiet building, the game continues with Toronto ahead 3-2 thanks to a second period shorthanded goal by Tyler Bozak. There's Carl Gunnarsson for Toronto. Up the boards, Kadri in his 100th NHL game relayed the puck to Joffrey Lupul. He got it deep. Markov is back. Thomas Plekanec, 1-on-3 here. Rennie Bourque falls in behind him. Now goes after the shoot-in. Jake Gardiner paired with Cody Franson. Leaves down to 5 defensemen. They're down to 11 forwards. David Desharnais weaving through center. Frankie Bouillon to Desharnais off the tip of the glove of James Reimer. Josh Georges in for Briere, checked by Gunnarsson. Desharnais follows with the puck, turned to get away from Ranger. Left the puck there. And Briere's pass for Bouillon drifts all the way down the ice. And Carey Price will play it. Georges a quick outlet. Desharnais, Pacioretty. Briere's over on his off wing, going to the front of the net. Gardiner trying to deal with Pacioretty. Walks out front, stopped, rebound, and the puck is loose. And Briere couldn't get a shot. Pacioretty's one-timer. He got a lot on that for a guy with a sore wrist. And it went just wide of the net. And the life in the Canadiens now.
Briere. That was
a great pass.
Perfect pass across. I think Pacioretty couldn't believe that it got there. And flat.
PK Subban at the point open as well. And I think everybody in the building thought it was going to PK. Creativity at its finest there.
Here's David Poland. Mason Raymond after Subban. Couldn't wrap him up. Barzell up the boards, not out. Ranger held the puck into the line only for a moment. Galchenyuk to Brendan Gallagher. His stick is slashed at by Boland. He got away with that and then got the puck for a second, but the Canadiens have it back. Bouillon with his shot. That was blocked by Boland. Diaz with his shot. That was blocked. And here's a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1. Mason Raymond with David Boland. Raymond scores! Tried to pass, got the puck back, and buried it. Mason Raymond with his first as a Toronto Maple Leaf. It's 4-2 Toronto.
A fortuitous bounce there for Raymond as he, the entire way up the ice, is looking to make the pass. He wants to get it across, and instead it comes right back to him. Bad break for Bouillon as he comes. Diaz with the shot. Can't make the play. Bouillon plays it pretty well. Stays in the middle, goes down, and it hits his skates, come right back onto the stick of Mason Raymond. Look at the effort by Eller coming back. He was diving down to try to stop that pass. Had the pass gone through, it probably wouldn't have got to Boland. Instead, a tough play for Carey Price.
Crafty play by Raymond, though. He has his head turned as if he's going to pass the whole way. Then he looks at the net, and then you think, okay, he's shooting now. There's no pass available. Yeah, he makes the pass then.
An important acquisition, especially given the suspension of David Clarkson. And now a 2-goal lead for Toronto on the road in the NHL opener in Montreal. Joffrey Lupul on PK Subban. Josh Georges up the boards to Travis Moe, and he tipped the puck out to center. Desharnais with Brandon Prust following. Prust takes the shot, stopped by Reimer. Doesn't know where the puck is. Off his glove and behind the net, and he just finally found it. Here's Prust again. Moen's out front. Desharnais double shifting with his fourth line. From the blue line, Georges with a shot, stopped by James Reimer with Moen screening. Here comes PK Subban off the blue line. Hard around on the boards. Georges holds the puck in for Prust. It took a Toronto bounce there for Dion Phaneuf. Jake Gardiner flips the puck out to center. Icing's waved off as Georges goes back. Rafael Diaz with a long pass off the boards. Gianta got it back. Buchanan's tipped that pass or shot right onto the net, and Reimer had to make another good save. Markov lost sight of the puck along the boards. Gunnarsson. James Van Riemsdyk safely in deep. Tyler Bozak trying to fight off Diaz. Gianta against a pinching Gunnarsson. Kessel turns and fires the puck back in. Lots of time left, but already the Leafs are in safety mode here. Just get the puck deep, make the Canadians come a long ways.
Yeah, you got to think the Canadians are needed to get their defense up in the play too. It created that last goal by jumping in, but I would expect the likes of PK Subban will be jumping up every chance he gets.
What's the atmosphere in the building too in the last sequence that has just totally changed, which at one point this is a tough building to play in, and understandably so. The last shift with Orr and Parros has taken everything out of this building. And yet moments before that fight, the building was alive when Ashton went down.
Ashton and Tinordi fighting, Orr and Parros fighting in game misconducts.
And don't you think too, the shorthanded goal really changed that as well in that second period. Took the atmosphere away.
Seldom you hear this kind of atmosphere in Montreal. At the attacking blue line, Toronto's offside. Mason Raymond has made it a 2-goal Toronto lead. You're watching Molson Canadian NHL face-off on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada.
Here at the Bell Center, they took the stretcher off the ambulance, which is positioned here in the hallways of the Bell Center. And I asked one of the attendants, "Are you going to get George?" And he said, "Yes, we are. We're taking him to the hospital." He has not been seen, though, coming back on that stretcher into the ambulance. So he's still being tended for here at the Bell Center as it stands.
And you saw the picture on the Toronto bench. Not a particularly pretty one, but Carter Ashton patched up and is back after a fight with Jared Tinordi, who is back for the puck in his own zone. And the Toronto Maple Leafs on opening night have a 2-goal lead in Montreal. Carey Price had to play the puck. It was rolling. He scooped it ahead. Joffrey Lupul holds it in. Kuhlman's there. So is Kadri. Dion Phaneuf, a rolling puck again. Carl Gunnarsson with a shot. Price the save. And Lupul couldn't get a hold of the puck, nor could Kadri. Daniel Briere to center. To Pacioretty on the left side. Desharnais in the middle. And Gunnarsson and he go after the puck. Briere and Kuhlman fishing for it. And Dion Phaneuf comes back to get it. An aerial, the puck was knocked out of the air by a high stick and played by a Canadian, PK Subban, so play is stopped.
Well, let's take a look at how the atmosphere in this building changed. And when someone on your team with a red sweater hits someone on the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is when the building started to go wild. This was great news for Montreal Canadiens. And the last punch really brought the building to life. And after the last punch, well, it was Parros that got punched by the ice, and this building has been quiet since.
Shots are now even at 32 apiece. James Van Riemsdyk, who got the scoring started at 8:01 of the first period. In deep against Subban. Gardiner in deep as well, and he held the puck in. Phil Kessel. Bozak's in front of the net as Kessel tries to get away from Brian Gianta. Gardiner just onside, wrist shot blocked. Kessel's shot is stopped by Carey Price. Van Riemsdyk. Tyler Bozak fighting to get away from Josh Georges. And now Subban steps in front of Kessel. Toronto started a change here, and they hold the puck in. Franzen did it, and fresh line comes over the boards. Dave Boland's group. Boland with a back check against a more tired Rennie Bourque. Here's Mason Raymond. 1-on-3, Bolin tapping his stick. He wants the puck. Bodie goes to the net. Raymond shoots, stopped by Carey Price and deflected to the corner.
Best way to try to protect the lead, playing the offensive zone. Montreal at this point unable to really get any momentum back.
No energy in their game at all right now.
You heard Don talk about the Leafs' schedule with the game tomorrow in Philadelphia. That extra goal just gives them such breathing room, allows them to go with more of a 3.5-line game and rest some bodies.
Troy Bodie on the ice, by the way, got his first assist in the NHL since the 9th of May 2011 on Mason Raymond's goal, thanks to his block. Bouncing puck held in. Here's Lars Eller, the trailer. Diaz shoots, missed the net up high. That could have changed the atmosphere. Markov, Diaz fires a shot, and Reimer makes the save. And again, there's no rebound. Haven't been many second chances at all from James Reimer, who held the puck. James Reimer will be the feature on our Hockey Night Focus coming up. Brought to you by Subway Restaurants, and the Focus is number 34 for Toronto.
Well, the focus before the game is who would play. He earned the right to play. Believe me, being the starting goalie in Game 1 matters, and he has really made a difference. He's looked athletic. The smaller pads have made him look quick. He's been steady. Very few problems with any of his rebounds. And so James Reimer has stood up to the test. Montreal's looked quicker, and they've had more scoring chances to 2 periods. Reimer's been the real deal tonight.
101st NHL start as Diaz takes a shot over top of the net. He's 2-0 for his career in this building. Canadians hold the puck in again, and a shot just wide of the net. Now the Canadians, the last couple of shifts before the TV timeout, and now here have picked it up again. Pacioretty, Markov, and for Max Pacioretty, backhands the puck to the end boards. Pacioretty with Moen and Trust on this shift as the puck is bounced off the glass and down the ice. And an icing call as Markov goes back for the puck.
Well, one thing Randy Carlyle has said right from the get-go is that both goaltenders would play. So when Reimer gets Game 1, you can expect that man, Jonathan Bernier, coming in and trying to do what Reimer has been able to do in this game. I think this is going to step up for a great competition between two guys who desperately want to be that #1 goalie.
Just 54 starts in the career of Bernier as Gianta shoots up high, as he spent a lot of time being a backup for an excellent goaltender who plays a lot. Skipper from the blue line by PK Subban went wide of the net. The Canadians keep putting the pressure on. There's a block and a chance for a 2-on-2. Jay McClement stops and shoots. Price the save. Rebound. Bodie just about put that into the net. They followed the play to the goal.
Right off the post for Bodie. In a game like this, he's taking advantage of Clarkson being out of the lineup. It'll get him another opportunity to get right back in there.
Nazem Kadri left the puck behind. Now he pokes it up to center. Jared Tenorti. Francis Bouillon dumps the puck in. Gunnarsson is back. Watched by Eller. Moves the puck through the neutral zone. Tenorti back with Kuhlman right on him. And the Leafs just play cautious defensive hockey here. No icing that's indicated right away. And in this building tonight, you could clearly hear it.
Yes.
Not normally the case.
That was the case that Gardner lifted the stick of the Canadian player, and that's why, even though it went by and wasn't touched, it was called off.
Brendan Gallagher turns Gardner, who turns and gets the puck himself. Jay McClement up the middle. Dave Bolin with him, so is Mason Raymond. Raymond's gone to the side of the net. Now he takes the pass, cycles back. Good time-eating sequence here for Toronto. McClement will start the cycle in the other corner. Raymond to Bolin. Little keep away by this group. That's part of the reason the Leafs were so successful in third periods and holding leads, because they could go into this time-eating defensive posture and eat up the clock, not give up many chances.
They really became good at one-goal games. 11, 3, and 5 last year in one-goal games. They learned how to protect a one-goal lead.
And it figures they should be even better now. It seems like Randy Carlyle's been around forever, but this is really just his first full season at the helm of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And most important, first real training, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the big difference of being able to actually work with your team, create a culture.
Here's Desharnais, couldn't handle a bouncing puck and a pass from Pacioretty. And Van Riemsdyk is away to center. 2-on-2, he's got Kessel with him. Doesn't try anything fancy, just gets the puck deep. Kessel gets it back to the line. Mark Fraser back in action after serving his time. The centering pass taken away by PK Subban.
Carlisle was hard on his team this morning.
Or was he ever?
He watched a couple of drills, didn't like the execution, stopped the drill, back to the board, and it wasn't, let's just ease into this, put our toe in the water. He expected excellence right off the bat, right from this morning on.
It wasn't just a little skate this morning. It was a full-blown practice.
It was attention to detail.
Travis Mullen. Prust's in front. Thomas Plekanec. Kadri working defensively here. Fans wanted a penalty on Mark Fraser for a hit from behind. Lupul gets the puck out for Toronto. Fraser just now separated from Brandon Prust. Shooting by Travis Mullen, end of his shift. Prust looks like he wants to extract some revenge here. Bumped into the goaltender. He's out of the net on a hard shot that missed the net from Rennie Bourque as Reimer scrambled to get back in. Here's Mason Raymond back the other way. McClement drives the middle and heads for the inboards after the puck against Tenorti. And there's a scrap behind the play. Here we go again.
We got 6 guys on the ice for the Leafs, though.
Fraser and Prust.
So what's your call here? Fraser was on the ice. Look at, they're trying to get Franson off now. He jumped back onto the bench, but the Leafs had 6 guys as Fraser made a change. Franson had come on, and then he got engaged in a fight.
Prust was angry because he felt he was hit from behind by Fraser. Prust turns a bouncing puck. He's taken hard to the boards, and that's why Prust was mad and went after Fraser, who was trying to leave the ice. 2-goal lead for Toronto. Referees here wondering if they caught the too many men on the ice and whether Toronto was going to get a penalty here. So you saw Fraser get hit, or hit Prust, and Prust runs into the goaltender. The shot goes wide, and Fraser wants to change. Prust is mad.
Watch Gardner comes on to take Fraser, and then Prust and Fraser get involved. So you got 6 guys on the ice for the Leafs. You got a fight starting and an altercation.
And it looks like Toronto's going to get a power play. And that's why Gianna was hot at the referees.
It is hard to change with a 230-pound man grabbing it and not letting you get to the bench.
It's hard to believe, though, that the 4 officials on the ice didn't notice that there was 6 Toronto Maple Leafs on the ice.
I think if Prust wanted to get into it with Fraser, he had lots of time. He had 55 feet from the corner up to the bench to make his point. Let's dance.
And the extra penalty goes to Montreal, so Toronto's on its 7th power play of the night. Phaneuf's in trouble. Travis Mullen stole the puck. Now he's trying to get to the net. Onto his backhand, he runs into the goaltender, knocks the net off, and play is stopped. We've still got more hockey action coming tonight. There is a doubleheader tonight, folks, and if you're in Manitoba or in Alberta, you will not miss the puck drop between Winnipeg and Edmonton. The face-off will be at 18 minutes after the hour, and we'll get the whole nation there for Winnipeg and Edmonton as the NHL season begins at Rexall tonight.
Now another collision around the Leaf net. Nice job by Mullen trying to take it to the outside. Good effort of coming back defensively. Phaneuf didn't get the stick in and take a penalty, and Reimer absorbs the collision.
Kessel, Bozak, Van Riemsdyk still out on the power play. Franson and Phaneuf the point men. Finally the puck comes loose. Phaneuf gets it after some hustle by Kessel. Here's Franson to the side of the net. Van Riemsdyk with a backhander towards the front. Van Riemsdyk with another shot, and Price made a wonderful save on James Van Riemsdyk. Now Dion Phaneuf. Van Riemsdyk back in his office on the power play in front of the net. Slashed at by Price. Kessel with a shot. Rebound. And Bozak had an empty net there, and he couldn't bury it. He hit the side of the goal after the shot by Kessel was stopped.
Kessel's 13th attempt at the net. He has not been afraid to shoot the puck tonight.
Bozak, there's another nifty backhander by Van Riemsdyk. He likes to make that play, and this time it hit a skate. Bozak, a backhand pass that fooled Franson and went off his skates. And the Canadians finally clear the puck. 30 seconds to go in the power play.
How about some of the desperation saves by Price? He's had to fight through bodies. He had to fight through rebounds. He made another just glorious glove save on that rebound earlier.
Jake Gardiner with a pass to Mason Raymond, and the play is just offside in the last 19 seconds of the penalty being served by Alex Galchenyuk.
Some pretty good chances down low through a pile. You could see how the glove of Price is the only thing you can see in your screen, and he's somehow able to get a piece of it. Van Riemsdyk not able to get it up high enough, but Price through the crowd was able to battle and get a piece of it.
Quick update from David on George Parros.
Guys, really quickly, I just want to say about 5 minutes ago, Parros did leave in an ambulance. They're going to a local hospital for further evaluation. So hopefully everything will be all right. But right now he has left the Bell Center in an ambulance on a stretcher.
His team down a man, down two. Eller trying to get away from Jake Gardiner. Cuts to the net, scores! Lars Eller with his third point of the night, and there's some life in the Canadians. Yet a shorthanded goal, and they're within one.
Don't go away, folks. We saw the earlier chance shorthanded by Moen on the other side. This one gets by Gardiner, and Gardiner does a nice job of trying to get on his horse and get back. But look at the legs of Eller. Just kept his legs moving, drives it deep, and then finds a hole underneath the blocker of James Reimer. Glenn, a tough play for a goaltender with all those bodies coming with speed at you.
Well, you've got Moen on the shift before, who made no attempt to avoid Reimer. Took him out of the play, took the net off, and Reimer had a little chat with the referee. That gets you thinking. And on that particular play, Reimer just didn't stay with the play. He backed away almost like there was going to be more contact there. And the short side of the net opened up.
Just at the end of the penalty, Lars Eller's second of the night, third point of the night, and now it's 5-on-5, and still some time left for the Canadians. Storm the net, and Reimer is down. Here's Subban through the puck of the net, and it was stopped by Reimer, down and out without his stick lying on the ice. And PK Subban just about was able to thread the needle into the net.
There might not be 21,000 plus left, but they're getting loud now, the ones that are.
Here's Kuhlman with a hard wrist shot wide of the net for Toronto. PK Subban is back. Kuhlman held the puck in. Now the Canadians start up, trailing 4-3. The center, Bouillon dumps the puck in. Van Riemsdyk and Desharnais are back. So is Paul Ranger. He and Franson together on the defense as Toronto tries to hold on to this lead. Bozak into the middle. Kessel couldn't get the puck out. He tipped it to the boards. The fans call a penalty. The refs don't. Here's James Van Riemsdyk. Bozak with him. Franson following. And he just makes the safe play. Instead of firing at the net, he held the puck in along the boards.
You hear the Leaf fans. Don't tell me we're starting the way we finished last year.
Here's Andrei Markov. Carey Price heads to the bench for the extra attacker. A minute to go. Montreal behind by one at home. Pacioretty left the puck from behind the net. Briere to Markov. Subban shoots through a crowd. Loose puck. Briere can't get a hold of it to get a shot. And Phil Kessel gets the puck to center. Kessel, Lupul, and Bolin on the ice. Kessel scrambling to change. Subban scrambling to get the puck to center. Here's Danny Briere to Lars Eller. Desharnais with him. Pacioretty to the net. Eller spins away from Carl Gunnarsson. Too many Canadians there. Desharnais comes in fishing for the puck. Pacioretty trying to poke it loose as well. Up the boards. Lupul, one man back, and that's Markov, and he holds the puck in. Eller, Pacioretty. Subban's in front of the net, the centering pass, bouncing puck. Markov will hold it in, running out of time. Briere, one-timer off the side of the net. Dion Phaneuf trying to hold off Lars Eller. Puck's up the boards. Markov holds it in. On the other side, Subban shoots, deflected off the seat of the pants of Pacioretty. Game over. An exciting finish, but the Canadians run out of time, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have opened another season in Montreal with a victory.
There wasn't a lack of drama right after the goal to make it a one-goal game. You could see Reimer down, and he actually makes that save with his left pad on a PK Subban shot, and then Phil Kessel. This is what Markov was arguing about, stick between the legs. Markov down, no call, and the Leafs able to hold on.
A nervous finish for the Toronto Maple Leafs, a little closer than they had hoped, and it didn't look like it was going to be that way for a while in the third. But James Reimer and the Leafs win 4-3 in Montreal. Still to come, Winnipeg and Edmonton on Hockey Night in Canada.